Thank you. Ranking Member Pingree.
Well, thank you both. Really appreciate your testimony and the horrendous challenges that you're facing, many of which we have been hearing about over the last couple of days. So we will certainly be doing our best to try to increase some of the funding for law enforcement, Indian health, Indian education. I mentioned earlier there's just a new report out yesterday from the Inspector General about the things you're just talking about horrendous the conditions are. And thank you for sharing that story about the woman who perished. That's just awful to think of someone being that far from law enforcement, but I know we hear it all the time that with underserved reservations, you can do everything you're supposed to do and still not make it. So thank you. We certainly will work on that. And I appreciate you sharing this map with us. I would have to get a graduate education to begin to understand how complicated these situations are that you're dealing with on the reservation. And I really appreciated hearing about the plans you want to make to have an agribusiness and do more, growing and take back some of the leases that have been used. So I can't dig into it all now, but maybe at another time I could begin to understand a little bit better about how we could help with that. It's something I also serve on the Agriculture Committee. So it's one of my joint interests is how do we help those communities that really want to get back into growing their own food or doing more of it. And it sounds like you've got some huge challenges to face. I just can't. I mean, I know it's true when we hear about it all the time, but the idea that you can't access the information and the data that you need just to do what you're trying to do is a horrendous situation, and it just seems like something that we ought to be able to make some progress on. So love to talk to you more about that. We won't try to do it today, but if we could connect up later, that would be great. Yeah, thank you both really for your testimony. Appreciate it very much.
Chairman, I think if you get the information that you requested 5 months ago to this committee, we can get that to your because you span North and South Dakota, right? Your res, so we can get that to them, and we can put a little spur to the horse to try to accelerate that, and that should be digitized, and it should be far simpler in today's world to access whether or not what you can develop on, whether you can or can't, and that's just ridiculous. A year ago, you had a multiple murder. 3 were murdered. Can you, in a minute, tell me what occurred there?
So it all stemmed from lack of law enforcement. We have tribal security that we try to fund ourselves through our local budgets, and there was a DUI driver. Law enforcement couldn't respond, and so our tribal security had attempted to respond with no luck. And so, being frustrated with what had transpired, he was frustrated knowing that his grandfather was a law enforcement officer from back in the 80s, and it was so stressful for him, and he was so distraught that he went home and he took the lives of his mother, his niece, and his sister. His niece and his sister. The mother survived the shooting, and so she was the sole survivor of that shooting. And there again, our lack of law enforcement, and underfunding, and.
Well, thanks for sharing. That's a real world story of had there been more law enforcement, it might not have happened at all, and it could have certainly been limited. So thank you for sharing that tragic story. Okay, thank you all very much for being here. We got work to do.
You.
Thanks. Finally, for the morning session, we've got Chief Jeff Wakosh from the United Kituwa Band of Cherokee Indians in Oklahoma. Chairman Jacob Keyes from the Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma, and Chairman Rick Celestine of Alabama Coshada Tribe of Texas. Welcome, gentlemen. Cut myself shaving this morning. Cut my ear.
Oh, no. I get you a medic. Thank you all for being here. Remember,
Green and yellow are good. Red, when it starts flashing, the 5 minutes up, we want to get through this, so we've got some time for questions. If it's okay, I'm just going to sit here and bleed in front of you for a little bit. Cutting, when you're bald, you cut yourself shaving every once in a while, and it's not on the face. But don't mind me. We're glad you're here. It's good to see you again, Rick. It seems like a year went way too fast, and I hope we've made some progress, and I hope that your testimony is good. So, Jeff, we're going to start with you. Welcome. Go ahead.